Welcome back to our final stand-up video. Today, we'll talk about a quick review of the overall progress of our individual backlog progress, which will most likely be completed. And we'll talk about retros as well as the finalize of the Power BI. So let's move on. Okay, this is the Padlet. All right. So what we have done is basically we need to determine whether all the requirements have been met. So it is clear that all of the tasks has been completed. So first of all, it is plan data schema. So Samuel is the one that completed plan data schema. So Samuel, how do you evaluate the success of this task?
Yeah, it's pretty easy, in my opinion. Like we got discussed right for the whole project, like how we want to go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty
pretty easy, yeah. So after that, it's load flat files is also on Samuel. So how's the evaluation of the success of this task?
the success also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
All right. So next is Joseph. Create relationship. How do you think this task? Is it easy, hard, or anything else that you want to add in?
Create relationship is quite easy, but I forget to add in the account payables inside. So that's my mistake.
Yeah, you have to be more aware of your mistakes. So next is the scope requirement with end users.
Yeah, it's also easy. Just take a screenshot only, and then change the additional requirement to invoice tab.
Yeah, this one is quite easy. So next is mockup design. So yeah, the design, I took around 2 days, 1 to 2 days to do it. So kind of okay for me. So I don't think that's much a problem inside other than Giant asking some HD backgrounds for this design. So yeah, that is great. So after this review design with end users, yeah, and I did send the review design to end users. So it doesn't have quite a lot of issues right there also, but they also send us the updates on our tasks. So yeah, that is quite annoying, but end users is end users, so we have to follow what they say. Next is create visual for financial performance. It's Giant. So how do you evaluate the success of this task?
I think pretty okay because like I got some help from my teammate also. Yeah.
So lastly is the cash position. Do you have any problems? Do you have any problems in financial performance and cash positions?
For this both part, like after the updates from the end user, then our doubts has been solved successfully.
Right. So yeah, so after that we'll talk about comparing the estimation of the duration, budget, and resource allocation. So what I've done is I have noticed from everyone. So first of all, Samuel finished his task in around just one day. So basically we'll reduce the time to one, and the mock-up design is 2 days. Okay. So right there, and Giant, you finish your 2 visualization on 3 days, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we basically shorten the day, and let me look at the information project status. So all right, here is the status. So basically we start at the August of 30th 2021, and then our plan is to complete it on the October of 14th, but we finish it in October 12th. So there's a 2-day variance. Basically, we shorten our days by 2. And the planning of our assignments budget is 17,825. And then after everything has been done, the actual is actually 16,600. So that's kind of a big reduce right there, around $1,000, something like that. And the work duration also has been decreased by 60, and the duration is also decreased by 1. So budget has been explained, and resource allocation. Let me go ahead. Resource allocation. So is there any problem with the resource allocation, guys? Especially for the price.
We've added a new tester tool, right?
Yeah, we added a new tester tool for our resource. Resource allocation. So price, we also had a few issues at first because we didn't notice about the hours, and then I've changed it. So next of all, I have to discuss any discrepancies and the reason behind them. So, what's the reason behind the budget of this project to be reduced? Anyone? Joseph?
Wait, you asked for budget, reducing
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah. The reason
Hmm.
behind the reduction in budget.
I think because our resource has finished it earlier, that means that we can reduce their money. So I think here's the reason that the cost will be reduced.
Yeah. So like we just discussed it on offline, the estimated duration of this project has been reduced due to the fact that the tasks that we allocated are actually gotten themselves some boost from other resources. So yeah, basically other resources has helped our assigned resources on their tasks. So basically the time has been reduced, which means the work duration has been reduced from 560 to 500 and the duration has been reduced. So it also means that the cost will be reduced as well. So that's all for the MS project. So let's take a look at our Power BI. So this is how our Power BI will be in the submission itself also. So is there any issue with this, especially Giant?
I think maybe later I will reduce a bit the fonts of each graph to make it like less compact.
All right, sure. So you have added two financial performance tab, which is the income by accounts and less operating expenses by account. So what can you tell us with this?
For this income by accounts is like to enable the end user to visual this income account more easily, as we already like filtered out the income accounts. Then same for this less operating expenses. We already filtered out all the expenses account, so the end user should be visual this graph easily for their reference of their operating expenses.
All right, so basically their sales are basically the most income and the less operating system is their non-chargeable labels. Okay, so right, thank you, Giant. So after that, we'll talk about the cash movement tab. So this is the cash movement tab that we have, and this is the chart that we have put in into our Power BI. And the total account receivables are basically 21.42K, and the total account payables is 3.83K. And lastly, this is basically what our end users wanted us to do, is to add in an invoice tab, and we just basically put in a table of the entire invoice tab into the Power BI itself. So basically the end users can just see it right here. And yeah, that is all for our Power BI. And lastly, we need to talk about our retros. So our retros, we need to talk about what went well, what did not go well, and lastly, how to improve. So what went well, first of all, is Samuel. You said that I was able to find the appendix and know my way through Power BI because of the guidance of my group mates and Mr. Bryce. Power BI crash course. Yeah. So can you explain more on this?
So like I mentioned there, right? So I was able to like find the appendix for the data schema. Like you guys also helped me go through the Power BI, like teach me how to use it. And also Mr. Bryce also helped a lot with the open forums and also answer a lot of my questions. Yeah, so
Okay. All right. All right. So next of all is me. The splitting of the team went well, but most of the credit will be on Mr. Bryce, who helped us on our journey of this assignment. Yeah. So basically, Mr. Bryce did give us a second chance on this assignment because of our first initial video. So big thanks to Mr. Bryce. And yeah, that really did went well for us. It's not because of Mr. Bryce. We won't have this final stand-up video this well as well. So next of all is Giant. Nice group work, nice collaborative, super grateful upon Mr. Bryce's guidance along the assignment. He's considered is super B. So can you explain more on this?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for Mr. Bryce's guidance along the way of our assignments. And yeah, as mentioned by our leader, he's considerate of giving us the second chance. Is really like we really appreciate for this. And yeah, nice teamwork for our group also.
All right.
Yes.
So lastly is Joseph. Our Scrum Master performed well and gave good explanation when walked through the project. Okay, can you explain more on this?
Okay, basically our Scrum Master is you, JJ,
Yeah.
and then you plan and walk through the all the stamp out very well. So it helps a lot for us to do this assignment. So very good.
Right, thanks. So yeah, this is the part where we need to talk about what did not go well. So first of all is Giant said having difficulties on choosing the best variables to use for visualization. So any specific visualization you're having trouble with?
Yeah, for this part, I think is for the total revenue. It's like we a bit concerned to choose whether total revenue or total income for that graph. So other than this is the gross profit graph, I think like we unsure that we need to use gross profit margin or just gross profit.
So what you say is the gross profit. Ah, yeah, this one, the gross profit margin, the net profit margin, and this one. All right, yeah. So yeah, that it's a lot of trouble right there. So next of all is me. I spent quite a lot of time on the design of the Power BI. Too long, I tell you, too long. Yeah, I did took around maybe 6 to 5 hours on the design, but still the design itself doesn't look really good. So maybe we will change the design itself after this video. So the design itself won't have much a major change. Maybe the background just change some of it. So yeah. Next of all is Joseph. It is hard to calculate and create codes for gross profit and net profit margin in Power BI. All right, like
Yeah.
like Giant
Yeah.
mentioned.
So because we need to calculate gross profit and net profit margin in Power BI, and then require some code, but it's hard to get it the codes. So
Yeah,
find very long time.
yeah. Well, we also did find some friends to help us with this coding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lastly is Samuel. Our work needed to be remodeled due to the project update by the stakeholders. Can you explain more on this?
So what I mean, like, it's the project update, right? It gives us the account payables. So our appendix says that the cash movement tab has accounts receivable and payable table, right? So
Yeah.
before the update, we couldn't find the payable. So we just search through the receivable Excel
Oh
file.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like before the update is, I think, pretty confusing. So after the update, I think it's more better if
Mm.
they provide us the payable table.
Yeah, they should have just provided us the payables account even earlier in an earlier date, but never mind.
Yeah.
Lastly, how to improve. So first of all, I think it is okay, but to be honest, the most important part for me is just teamwork. So I think that working as a team is very important for everything in life, and in project itself also working as a team is very important. So there need to be some improvement in ours, but I think there is not much improvement that we need to improve on. So yeah, next of all is Samuel. Personally, I think the updates, data, and requirements are better off with providing to us at the start of the project development. Therefore, it will be more efficient and time saving. Yeah. So can you yeah.
So like I said before, right? So for the accounts receivable and payable table, it would better they provide us earlier, so it will be more easier for us to proceed with the project development. So we'll be more efficient and more time saving.
Yeah. So yeah, that should be improved as well. Next is Joseph. Understand the requirement of each tab and discuss with group mates before starting to create visuals. Can you elaborate more on this?
Okay, as Giant mentioned in what did not went well, the total revenue and revenue is quite confusing. So I think we should discuss first before we do the total revenue and revenue or the tabs. Yeah. Need some discussion.
Yeah, more discussion. So lastly
more
is
discussion.
Giant. I personally think that the end user should update any information as early as possible to avoid wasting any work done. So yeah, your answer is basically the same as Samuel, but can you elaborate more on this?
Yes, I think is the end user should like improve themselves. And other than this, I think that our team should like always improve our skills, whether on Power BI or the MS project, to avoid like stucking too many times on the, especially like for the desk function.
Yeah.
So we should always improve ourselves. Yeah.
All right. So that's all for our retros. And let me check. Yeah, I think that is it for everything. And there's comments on the completed. So yeah, I don't think I'll go there. So yeah, I think that is it for today. Thank you all for this video, sign up video, and I'll see you guys in next week. Maybe in see you guys next week. All right, goodbye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.